So, today we have Shagun Maheshwari, who is a dynamic young innovator who transitioned from mechanical engineering to social entrepreneurship, blending technical expertise with purpose. She's the founder of Papaya, a sustainability driven brand creating eco friendly menstrual products that aim to revolutionize women's health while reducing environmental impact. So, your brand is world's first blood solidifying menstrual pads, right? So, how did you come up with it, or like what inspired the creation of your brand, and what problem were you aiming to solve?
Yeah, so I've always been a bit obsessed with menstruation and climate change. You can hear me, right? Is there a lot of disturbance from the background?
No, no, it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. So, and I basically wanted a better menstrual product. I love the menstrual cup, the silicone reusable cup. I figured, ki chalo, engineering wise, problem is solved. I just need to give it to all my friends and family. But the learning curve is hard. It's not a solution for everyone. And I realized, like, it's been 10 years and I haven't been able to convince a lot of people to try it. So, or stick with it, even if they try it. And so I thought that pads are not going anywhere. Let's like build a better pad. 50% of women, even in like developed like markets in terms of menstrual products, like even where tampons have existed for decades, people still use pads. And the same statistic is true even in India because the rest of the 50% will either not be using a one-time product at all, like they'll be using handmade things and stuff like that. So either way, 50% of menstruating women use pads. So, but my personal problem with the pad is that you like uh, all pads on the market work by absorbance, right? They all have super absorbent polymers that do the absorption, and it's really hard to replace that. So the like at least the ones that exist, like the biodegradable pads that exist, you have a choice. Like you're either picking something that is good for you, good for the planet, but doesn't work as well as plastic, or you're picking the plastic because you want functionality and comfort, which I thought was a I didn't want to make this choice. Like this should not have be like two separate sets. So how do we combine this? And I realized because I was testing with menstrual blood that we can clot blood, and if we clot blood, we are basically fixing it in place. We're avoiding it from going everywhere, and we can provide a comfortable experience without plastic. So yeah, that's basically the thing that sustainability should not be at the cost of comfort and functionality.
Yes. You know, for me, the name Papaya was really nice because it went with the theme, with what you are going with. It is authentic, it is raw. So, what does the name Papaya symbolize for you as a brand?
Yeah, I mean, there are two things. One is because, like, the very graphic one that you cut it, it looks like the vulva. But the other one is like tongue in cheek, like they tell you, keep a pie cow, yeah, must cow. Like, there's a lot of um, uh, like things we're told, and we don't quite really know which is true, which is not. And basically, it's a tongue in cheek reminder that don't believe everything you're told about women's health because a lot of it is coming from not really science, it's just being told to us. And, I question things.
So, you came up with the name, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm.
You know, it's been a while since you launched the brand. So, how has that journey been and what problems did you face?
So our launch has been I do not know what to call a launch, right? Like technically we made the product in 2024, 2023 at some point, but in 2024 we started selling it. Okay. We did like the one ad campaign for 2 weeks and then that's it, nothing after that. Because after that I started building the factory and we didn't have enough stock from that first batch. So we just were like, we're not going to waste time advertising because we don't have enough because we don't have a factory. We're first going to build a factory and then get back to an expanded size range. So that expanded size range launch has only happened in January. So it's sort of been a long time coming, but what do you call a launch? Yeah. So it's been like I had a sellable product. It wasn't the best version of the product, but I had a product which we launched earlier. Thank you. And now, yeah, more improvements.
What do you think? How serious is the issue of sanitary waste pollution in India?
Um, so see, in terms of like in the whole what do you call it? Like all of our landfill waste, right? Like everything that you as a person will ever throw away. Sanitary waste is not a giant portion, it's a small portion of it. The idea is not that we're not claiming that we're fixing waste in general. We're not like it's not making a giant dent in that way. What it's doing is it's one aspect of our life. We're trying to make a more sustainable choice, but we're also trying to make a more healthier choice. So I think it's also like for us, like what works better for us, like no microplastics close to very sensitive skin regions, no harsh chemicals and stuff close to skin, like that kind of stuff as well.
Like why?
So
When we
yeah,
have the option to get a better choice, then
yes, then we should. And I think like slowly, right? Like the consumer is also evolving and they will make more such many choices. Like a person who's maybe using papaya today may also like want to use like similar products in different like uh, avenues of life. Yeah. So overall, we are making like a slow change. That's basically what it is. But if you want like a number, I guess you could calculate it fairly easily. It's how many like 15 pads a month. How many like like we can extrapolate and make a number like that. But
and what would be an advice that you would give to young entrepreneurs who want to start a purpose driven brand?
mm, So I think don't try to have the whole thing mapped out because you're not going to be able to, and you're just going to get discouraged. I think if you have something you feel passionately enough about, like work on the product and play to your strengths. Like I am a product person, that makes sense for me, and marketing and everything else is more acquired for me, like a acquired skill set. But basically, things take a lot of time in building, like a lot of patience and a lot of just it's not working. To try again. Anyways, but basically focus on the product and baby steps. Like let's not try to think about I'm going to have a company. Let's just try to have a product first, and then like try to see does anybody even want this before we like put yeah.
Also, was there a moment where you doubted whether this problem is too big to solve, and how did you work on it?
I think it has always been the fact that see, when I started doing this, I was just a person working after my day job, like trying to work on this thing, right? I didn't expect to come up with a solution. It was never a thinking, oh, we're going to fix this problem for the industry. That was never how it started. It was just, we're going to try to make a better pad, right? And it has taken a lot of years of like, uh, oh, somebody likes it. Oh, quite a few people like it. Maybe we can make it better. Like it was never about this has solved the problem. It's more about just the attempt and like the chase for the attempt of trying to solve the problem. And I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't think if I would have thought about, chalo, we're going to solve this massive problem for the industry, I don't think I would have made any progress because that is a scary statement. Right, like you've just like put like this giant burden of like I don't even know what on your shoulders. वो कैसे होगा? So no, I think we need to like think only like a little bit ahead.
It was something that you were passionate about and you wanted to do.
Yeah, a little bit ahead, and then things open up. Like doors open up the farther you go.
Also, what do you think this issue still lacks in mainstream conversations?
So I think times are changing. We are having a lot of mainstream conversation about periods, about body positivity, about women's health, about a lot of like things and related things in this area. There's already a lot of D2C brands which may not be biodegradable, but they are talking about comfort and making better choices and like just making it a point to talk about these things, which is good. So I think it's becoming more and more common. And it's a good time to be doing something like this because, yeah, people are more aware and accepting. I think what we need to build out is the and this is also something that overall we've seen like people get more and more aware about, like just microplastics and hormonal issues and like these kind of like lifestyle health concerns, which overall we're as consumers getting that like organic, wanting organic food, wanting like you know basically like
More
without chemicals,
sustainable.
without yeah, we're overall growing health conscious and it's also coming with environmental consciousness. It's a good time to be in this space, I feel.
There are also a lot more competitions that you might be facing now.
Yeah.
There are like panties that have come out, more eco-friendly brands for pads.
Yeah.
So how would you differentiate your brand with them?
So nobody's doing a clotting product because I don't think anybody else thinks about clotting as a viable option. Okay, everybody has their hypothesis. You don't start a business based on like I just do what everybody else does. People have their own funda. कि हम ऐसे करेंगे, this is how we're going to solve it. There are many solutions out there. Great. This is not something that I think one of the beauties of being this early is that everybody's competition and nobody cares. So yeah,
And everyone has their own journey.
yeah, so I am not particularly bothered. I think more products are always good for the consumer. It's a good thing, and more products also mean more people are talking about the same things that I care about, and I'm making my job also easier in talking about the same thing. So I think it's too early for me to think about competition. At least in the sense of like, oh my god, somebody else is doing this. No. And then when we start getting bigger, and yeah, then maybe it'll be a vibe, but it's not something for now.
And in 5 years, where do you want to see Papaya?
So we are product materials focused as a company, and I think there's a couple of things, right? Like there's differentiation in types of period products, like the same clotting mechanism. Where else can I put it? In terms of women's health products, and then there's also improvements in period products that we could make. Also, I like we've set up manufacturing. I also want to go as vertically integrated as possible. So apart from manufacturing, what else can we like? How much vertical integration for our product can we do ourselves? So I think that's the goal. Like moving towards raw materials and like trying to get more things under one sort of umbrella. Yeah, and like an outward looking aspect is also like geographies, right? Like how many people can we reach? That like is another.
That was my next question. Like, how are you planning to reach more people? Now, like, social media influencing has become a big thing. So, how are you planning to reach people?
So see, our best the thing that convinces somebody that they actually like the product is using the pads. Okay, so the pads are our best advertisement essentially. So my job is to get the pads to the right people that might be wanting something like this. So the next couple of months are all about how do we find those people, and we have some ideas. Like yes, having like trial packs which we have on our website, or have like a smaller pack of pads, like not an extended thing, or like then focusing on niches that people care about. Sustainability is one, health is one, comfort is one, and then also focusing on like we know that our pad is better for super sensitive skin or UTI prone people, right? So for people like that, who anyways like have a lot of like skin sensitization issues, we if we are reaching them, then like things like that, like which problem are we solving for people and where do we find that people is basically what we're trying to work. So sample packs and ads is one, but also hospital tie-up, dermatology clinic tie-ups, like.
Are you planning to just target India right now, or are you planning to target the global market as well?
So I want to focus on India. The only way we're doing global stuff is if we have people who want to do a pilot in their country where I sell to the people directly. Like I don't, sorry, I sell to the entity, not the people. I am open to pilots like that, but I don't think that right at this time we can go like D2C the way we're going with India anywhere more than India. Like India is a large market.
Okay, and what was the biggest skill gap that you had to overcome while entering this industry?
Um, so, like I told you, I'm a product person. Marketing is an acquired skill set, but so is everything else about business building. I'm an engineer. This is the whole everything else that is outside of the product has been an acquired skill set. Even like, even though yes, I'm an engineer, even then the product has also been a new industry. Like I haven't worked with fibers or fabrics before this. So that whole thing has been a learning experience. But that one I was more interested in. Everything else I have had to do as Papaya has grown.
And what is one mistake that you made early on that you cannot avoid?
Cannot avoid as in
As in, like, others should avoid, sorry.
um so many. I like hiring is tough. Finding the right people to support you is always difficult, and I don't even know how you avoid those mistakes. Those are just things you do, and it's still tough. It's still one of the toughest things to do. Um, Learning how the whole, like, people tell you like, oh, you need to think about what the other person wants. Like say you are networking or you want to do some kind of a partnership with someone, and like you're always trying to think about, at least they used to tell me, you need to think about what this person wants from you so that you can like, you need to understand that so that they're more amenable to work with you. I have never like earlier I have never understood like what does that even mean? Like of course they, like, people only what could they want apart from like money or like, like whatever. Like I was very obtuse. I am slowly learning that other things motivate people, right? Like people are people. Like this is a relationships thing, and you need to be friends with the people you work with, and you need to understand what drives them and motivates them. So that has been a learning curve. And I'm not talking just about the team, right? The team is easier, like because you're with them all the time. I'm talking about people like your suppliers, your vendors, your strategic partnerships, like other people, other business owners. Like, what apart from the money do they want from you? And that has been like an interesting thing to figure out.
So, one personal question: what was the reaction of your family when you wanted to change your career?
So it actually was not quite linear like that, right? Like I was constantly working on Papaya, even with a full time job till mid 2024. So I think by then my family was like, this is either a very expensive hobby, or because I was putting all my savings in it, or like I don't know why she's doing so, like little bit of confusion, little bit of like this is just what it is. So I think when I decided that in 2024 I'm just quitting my day job and I'm just doing Papaya full time, I think they saw it coming maybe even before I did. Like, so it wasn't as much a shock. I did get some people be like, I don't know why you're leaving your cushy job and like doing this. And I have also questioned that from time to time. But it is almost like, I can't, I get that this is not always the easiest decision to make. But it gets to a point where you're already like falling down, like, like an avalanche. Like the snowball is already falling. At this point, you can't stop it. You either like see it through. There is no other way, in my personal opinion, for myself. So it's not like it was a, oh, I could have like walked away. I guess if I could have, then I wouldn't have made this much progress anyways. Like it at some point became like, I can't not see this through.
And do you regret it, or it's like, no, it's good?
No, I do not regret it. I think I have learned so much, and I think it has been such a humbling experience, and I've learned and grown so much. I think without this, I would have been very good at whatever, like maybe I would have improved, at whatever my job was earlier. But as a person, I would not have become me right now. Like I think this has rounded me off in other skills, which is I'm grateful for.
And if your younger self could see you today, what do you think they would say to you?
I think a little bit of bafflement at like what the hell, but I don't know. I like to think that she'd be happy. Yeah, I mean, I am very happy in life. Yeah, I'm hoping she'd be like, oh, this doesn't look exactly what we planned, but it's like, yeah, I think she'd be happy. Yeah.
She would give you a pat at the back and say, you're doing really great, go on. And what's the long term vision, movement, or systematic change that you would want?
I think, I mean, I already told you, vertical integration as much as possible. And I think, again, playing to my chemistry materials, right? So, wherever I think I can contribute in those, like, I think my inclination is also there. So, I'm automatically also going to be doing more of that. Yeah, that's what this is going to go towards. And we'll see. I don't think it's going to be super linear in terms of like build a brand and get many products. I think it's going to be a little bit from like the back end development and build multiple factories that do multiple things. I think that's where it's going.
And where do you see yourself individually in the future?
Oh, I want to be at a point where I can be free in life. I think that's what my motivation is. And by free, it means have my own schedule, have my own, be able to work on things I love and enjoy. Not even like in that sense, because there is a relief in working for someone else, you know. You don't carry it home at night with you. You don't worry about the company disintegrating tomorrow or how do you make payroll the next month. So, not exactly being your own boss, but being able to like control your time. So, like, I want to go backpacking in the middle of a work week, and I should be able to do that just because, you know, I have my own, like, sometimes I work better at night. Like, just like basic everyday things I would like freedom in. Yeah.
So, before we close, what is one uncomfortable truth about this industry that more people need to acknowledge?
Um, People sometimes glamorize having a startup and being a founder, and it bugs me to no end because it's not glamorous. Like, I mean, a lot of people would actually be happier not doing this. It takes a specific kind of person who is okay to get rejected multiple times. It's actually a sucky job. So I do not like the overly glamorization of startup founders. I also think I do not like the swinging of the industry from buzzword to buzzword. Um, and at some point, like investors, like like uncomfortable truth is basically like you need people to build anything in terms of network, in terms of people who can give you money, in terms of people who can like able to believe in you. Like अकेले कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, and not all of us have networks. I definitely do not have a network that for this at all. So it's been building a lot of that network from scratch. And some people are just better positioned. Yeah, they already have networks in place, so they already know and have created it with life, right? So it is not. So I used to think as long as the product is good, nothing matters. That's not true. Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking out time. It was lovely, lovely talking to you. Having you here was an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Mhm. Bye.